Welcome back for another deep dive. You know we love digging into the data, and you guys sent in some really interesting stuff this time.
Yeah, this is some good stuff.
It is. We're going to be talking about business success and failure today.
The good and the bad.
Exactly. And we're going to be taking all of our information from Luisa Zhou's The Ultimate List of Successful Business Statistics in 2024.
Excellent source.
It is. We're going to unpack these numbers, see what they tell us about what it takes to make it as an entrepreneur.
What it really takes, yeah.
Yeah, so I think some of these are going to really challenge that whole image of the young, scrappy entrepreneur.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, like the average age of successful founders, get this, is 42. That's not the college dropout in a hoodie we see everywhere.
Right. Yeah, you think of like the Zuckerbergs of the world, like the really young, upstarts. And that's actually not the case.
Yeah.
And to add to that, 50-year-old founders are almost twice as likely to succeed as those in their early 30s.
Okay, so experience really matters.
Experience really matters.
Yeah.
When you're older, you have a deeper understanding of market dynamics, you have a wider network usually, stronger network, and greater financial stability.
So it's not just about a great idea then.
No.
It's about having the know-how to navigate all the ups and downs.
Yeah, the business world can be tough.
Exactly. All right, so before we get into all the nitty-gritty details about success and failure, let's kind of paint a picture of just what the entrepreneurial landscape looks like today.
Okay. Yeah, let's set the stage.
All right, we are talking huge numbers of businesses out there.
Massive.
32.5 million small businesses in the U.S. alone.
That's incredible.
And globally. A staggering 582 million entrepreneurs worldwide.
That's a lot of people taking the plunge.
It's amazing. Now, remember, most of these businesses are small. We're talking fewer than 20 employees.
Right. The mom and pop shops, the startups, the small teams.
And they're often self-funded, starting with an average of just $10,000.
Wow. Less than the down payment on a car for some people.
It's really amazing when you think about it. Okay, so who are all these people? Who are these entrepreneurs?
So who are these risk takers?
What do the statistics say about them? Well, there are some pretty interesting demographic trends.
For sure.
One that really jumped out at me was the huge number of Latino entrepreneurs.
Really?
They actually have the highest rate of new business creation in the U.S. right now.
That's incredible. A real testament to their spirit and drive.
Yeah, it's amazing to see that. All right, let's talk about, why people start businesses.
Okay, what's the motivation?
What's the motivation? Is it all about, fame and fortune?
Right, everybody thinks, you're going to be the next big billionaire.
Yeah.
So is that what it is? Well, the data kind of paints a more nuanced picture.
Okay, so tell me more.
A lot of people, they're driven by a desire for autonomy. Freedom to be their own boss, set their own hours, and shape their own destiny.
That's like the classic escape the 9-to-5 dream.
Get out of the corporate grind.
Yeah, right. But it's not just about ditching the corporate world, though, is it?
No, not always. A lot of entrepreneurs are actually fueled by passion projects, taking something they love, like a hobby or a side hustle, and turning it into something more.
That's awesome. So, passion, experience, resourcefulness. What else do these successful business owners have in common?
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. Successful entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
they prioritize family time.
Really? Wait, so not the 24/7 workaholic stereotype?
Not necessarily. They actually tend to dedicate evenings and weekends to family and loved ones.
Wow. So a strong support system and work-life balance actually lead to success.
It seems so. They're not afraid to seek guidance either. Many of them rely on mentors or support groups.
So they're not just lone wolves going it alone.
No, they're tapping into the wisdom and experience of others.
It really does take a village.
It does. And here's another interesting thing. These successful entrepreneurs, they get their message out there.
Oh, so they understand the importance of marketing.
They do. They invest in PR, advertising. They know even the best product won't sell itself.
No more build it and they will come, huh?
No, you got to be strategic. You got to reach your audience. And one more thing about experience, we were talking about that earlier. Serial entrepreneurs, those who started multiple businesses,
Okay.
they actually outperform newcomers,
Yeah.
generate significantly higher sales.
So learning from your mistakes really pays off.
It does. Every experience, even those we might see as failures, are learning opportunities. But let's talk about that fear of failure for a minute. That scary statistic we always hear.
Oh, you mean the 90% of businesses fail?
Yeah, that one. Is it really that bleak?
I mean, it can be pretty daunting for anyone thinking about starting a business.
It is. But the reality is much more encouraging. About 50% of businesses actually survive past 5 years.
Okay, so it's not a guaranteed path to failure.
No, Half of them make it.
That's way less scary.
Right. And even when businesses do close, it's not always a failure. Sometimes it's a strategic pivot, a shift in direction.
Oh, I see. Just part of the entrepreneurial journey.
Exactly. So let's talk about some of the hurdles entrepreneurs face then.
All right, let's dive into the challenges. Why do some businesses not make it?
Okay, well, the biggest one, and this probably won't surprise you,
Hit me.
lack of capital.
Money problem.
Money problems, yeah.
Yeah.
23% of small business owners say that's their biggest obstacle, cash flow. It's the lifeblood of any business.
Cash flow is king, right?
Cash is king.
Mhm.
And then there's the challenge of finding the right people. Recruiting employees, especially for small businesses, can be really, really tough.
Yeah, especially with limited resources.
Exactly. And then, even if you have a stellar team, getting the word out there, marketing and advertising, that's a huge challenge, especially on a tight budget.
It's a lot to juggle. Finances, team building, marketing.
It is. So with all of that going on, what are the most common reasons businesses fail? Is it always about running out of money?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would guess.
Actually, the number one culprit, lack of product market fit.
Okay, wait. So it's not about finances, it's not about marketing, it's about this product market fit thing.
It is. It's about having a product or service that people actually want
Mhm.
and are willing to pay for.
So that seems like a key concept then. What does that even mean, though? Product market fit.
That's a great question. It's all about finding that sweet spot where your product or service solves a real problem for your target audience.
We're going to unpack that a lot more in a bit.
Oh, we will. It's essential.
Okay, so you're saying the most common reason businesses go belly up isn't money, it's not marketing, it's this product market fit. I gotta say, I'm intrigued. I think we need to, really break this down.
Oh, for sure. It's essential, really.
Mhm.
Product market fit, you can think of it as like aligning your product or service with an actual demand. People got to want it.
So it's not enough to just have a cool idea?
Not at all. You got to solve a problem for real people. And they got to be willing to pay for that solution.
Can you give me an example, like something from the real world?
Think about Airbnb. You know, they totally tapped into this need, right, for travel accommodations that were like affordable, unique. You're connecting travelers with homeowners.
So both sides win.
Exactly. They solved a problem for both sides of the market, and that's why they just blew up.
Okay, so Airbnb, they found that sweet spot, offering something people wanted at a price they'd pay. How do entrepreneurs know if they're on the right track, though? Feels like a guessing game.
It's not guessing, it's like being smart about it. Gathering data. And it all starts with, good market research. You got to understand your target customer, like really understand them, their needs, their pain points, what they want.
So get out there and talk to people, no more lab time.
Exactly. Engage with potential customers, give feedback, use surveys, focus groups, test it out, and be ready to change based on what you learn.
So you got to be flexible.
For sure.
Yeah.
You might have to adjust course.
Divot, right.
Pivot. Exactly. The lean startup methodology, that's a good model for this. Build something, see how people react, learn, adjust. Keep doing that till you find that fit.
You mentioned challenges earlier, like lack of capital. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah. Access to money, it's like crucial for any business to survive, right? Whether it's, getting funding or just managing expenses, making sure money's coming in.
So it's not just about the idea, it's about having the resources to make it happen.
Right. And this is where experience helps. Experienced entrepreneurs, they've usually built up some financial cushion. They might have investors they know. They're just better with money.
So experience gives you a safety net.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
But even if you're starting small, there's loans, grants, crowdfunding. There are options. You got to be resourceful.
So don't give up on the dream just because money's tight. What about recruiting? We talked about that a bit. What are the struggles there?
Finding good people, keeping them, it's tough for any business, especially for startups. You don't have the same, name recognition. Competition is fierce. You got to make your company a place people want to be.
So it's more than just salary. It's about the culture, the vision.
Yeah, you want people who share your values. This is where those softer skills matter. Leadership, communication, being able to inspire your team.
So you're not just building a business, you're building a team.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about marketing and advertising. You said this is a big hurdle for a lot of entrepreneurs. What makes it so tough?
Yeah, it seems like a whole other beast.
It is. Everything's online now, right? And it's constantly changing. New platforms, new strategies all the time. It's a lot to keep up with.
And if you don't have a big budget.
It's tough to compete. But you got to be smart. Focus on who you want to reach and find ways that give you the most bang for your buck.
So work smarter, not harder.
Right. And this goes back to knowing your customer. Where do they spend time online? What do they read? Who do they follow? That kind of thing. You got to tailor your marketing to them specifically.
Be laser focused.
Yeah, exactly. So we've covered a lot, right? From like who these entrepreneurs are to money problems to finding the right product.
Yeah, my head's spinning a little.
It's a lot. Building a business, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Just take it one step at a time. Learn as you go.
So what are the main takeaways you want our listeners to remember? What's the one piece of advice you'd give someone starting out?
Don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
Every successful business owner, they've all messed up at some point. It's part of the process. Embrace the journey, learn from it, and keep going.
Don't be afraid to fail, huh? That's good advice. I like that.
Yeah, you got to be willing to mess up. It's how you learn.
You got to learn, you got to adapt.
Exactly. It's all about that growth mindset. And speaking of learning, we got to circle back to that whole product market fit thing.
Yeah, we've been dancing around it.
We have. It's so important. And I know it can be kind of confusing.
It is. So let's get into the nitty-gritty. How do entrepreneurs actually find this magical product market fit? Where do they even start?
Okay, first things first. You got to really know your customer.
We talked about market research.
Yeah, but it's more than just basic demographics. It's like getting in their heads. What motivates them? What are their goals? What are they afraid of? What keeps them up at night?
So you're saying it's not just about, age and location. It's about their deeper needs and desires. But how do you find that out?
You talk to them. You ask questions. You really listen. That's where qualitative research comes in. Customer interviews, focus groups, really in-depth surveys.
So you can't just guess. You got to get out there and talk to real people.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask the hard questions. Challenge your own assumptions about your product. The goal is to find those hidden needs, the things your customers might not even realize they want yet.
Okay, so you got to understand your customer. What else? What can entrepreneurs do to find that fit?
Test, test, test. Don't wait till you have this perfect product. Get something out there early, even if it's not totally finished. That's the whole idea behind a minimum viable product, an MVP.
Get it out there, see what happens.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
faster you learn, the faster you can adapt.
Yeah.
And don't be scared to pivot if things aren't working. Be flexible.
So it's okay to change course.
Absolutely. And product market fit, it's not a one-time thing. It's ongoing.
Oh, I see.
Customers change, markets change, new competition pops up.
Yeah.
You got to stay on top of it.
So you got to keep innovating.
Keep adapting.
Yeah.
And it always goes back to understanding your customer.
And testing, testing, testing. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, from the millions of businesses out there to those surprising things successful people do, to this whole idea of product market fit.
We have. It's been a journey.
It has. So what are the big takeaways? What do you want our listeners to walk away with?
I think the biggest thing is remember that success is not guaranteed. Nobody has a crystal ball. But if you have the right attitude, if you're willing to learn and really focus on your customer, that's how you up your chances of making it.
And don't be afraid to fail.
Exactly. It's going to happen. It's how you learn and grow.
So true. All right, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of business. It's been fascinating.
It's been a pleasure.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, keep chasing your dreams.